Kev Goes is a YouTube content creator who shares his passion for outdoor adventures through hiking, fishing, and camping. He often immerses himself in the wilderness to reconnect with nature and challenge his personal limits. Over time, he has gained significant experience in solo expeditions, learning to navigate difficult trails and unexpected weather conditions. However, in one particular video, he decided to take on a new challenge, spending a night alone in the forest. What started as a peaceful and uneventful experience soon turned into something unsettling. The video captures Kev's solo overnight stay in a remote forest, a location he had reached by bike. He brought only the essentials and set up his shelter in a moss-covered area between two trees. While the sun was still up, he prepared his sleeping area and planned for the night ahead. Despite being an isolated and desolate place, the atmosphere felt calm. His campsite was near an ATV trail, and since the land was government-owned and accessible to the public, he didn't expect to see anyone nearby.
With the door tie here, I can even tie this up if I want to, or clip it together just in the evening so that it's just totally enclosed. And here with this tarp, it's got tie-off points all over the place. So this one here, I had to change this guy line. I originally had it going to the tree over here, but I had to change it because this side was sagging. So now it just gives me all that much extra room.
As night approached, the temperature dropped. Kev decided that drinking coffee so late might interfere with his sleep. So instead, he prepared a simple meal. As the last rays of sunlight faded through the trees, the sound of ATV engines broke the silence. He explained that it was now April, and due to an unusually warm spring in Manitoba, Canada, some bears might have woken from hibernation earlier than expected. If they couldn't find natural food sources, they might start searching for human food. He recalled that he had used ingredients like garlic and onions for cooking, scents that could be tempting for a bear. However, as the ATV noises faded away, the night fully settled in. After finishing his dinner, Kev prepared his sleeping gear and crawled into his sleeping bag under his tarp shelter. Gradually, a heavy silence took over the environment. The only audible sounds were the rustling of leaves and the occasional creaking of tree trunks in the wind. As the night deepened, so did his sense of peace. Kev, accustomed to nature's rhythm, expected this moment to be enjoyable. But as time passed, the silence made even the smallest sounds seem abnormal and amplified. At first, he attributed the unfamiliar noises to natural shifts in the trees or the movement of animals. But over time, his sense of isolation turned into heightened awareness and eventually anxiety. The forest remained still until midnight, but then everything changed. Around 12:30 a.m., Kev was jolted awake by a piercing, eerie scream that shattered the night's silence.
I don't know if you heard that, but that was a weird sound, man. I do not know what that was.
The sound was unlike any animal he had ever heard. It wasn't the bark of a fox nor the call of an owl. It was long, agonized, and completely unnatural. Frozen in place, he tried to orient himself in the darkness while his mind raced to make sense of the sound. The once tranquil forest now felt ominous. Each time the scream echoed, it seemed to come from a different direction, never from the same spot. Soon, Kev also began hearing slow but deliberate movements. He reached for his camera, determined to capture whatever was happening. His shaking hands made it difficult to turn it on quickly, but after several attempts, he finally managed to record a portion of the strange sounds. These chilling screams, each coming from a different location, continued for what felt like an eternity. Then, just as suddenly as they started, they stopped. But this silence was different. It wasn't comforting. It carried a weight, a pressure, as if the forest itself was watching him. Kev spent the rest of the night on high alert, listening for the faintest sound, keeping his gear close at hand. Sleeping after such an experience was impossible. The forest, which had always been a place of adventure and peace for him, now felt unfamiliar and threatening. At sunrise, the familiar sounds of birds and scurrying squirrels returned, making the environment seem normal and safe once again. The golden morning light filtered through the trees, giving the illusion that nothing had happened. But the memory of the previous night remained vivid in Kev's mind. Without hesitation, he packed up his gear. Daylight couldn't erase the fear of what had happened in the dark. Although nothing had directly approached his camp, something had undoubtedly been out there, something that didn't want to be seen. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe to the channel to help us reach 1,000 subscribers and to not miss more content like this. Now, let's jump into the next video. Adam, the adventurer behind the Ads Ventures channel, has spent the past few months traveling to different parts of the world, sharing his experiences with thousands of followers on YouTube. From breathtaking landscapes to hidden locations, his adventures have always been a source of inspiration. In this video, he travels to Prague, one of the most historic and beautiful cities, but this journey doesn't go as expected. On November 16th, 2024, after an exciting day exploring the city's old streets, Adam chooses a quiet spot near a gas station along a highway outside the city center to rest for the night. Everything seemed normal, and he expected a peaceful night, unaware that he was about to face a disturbing experience.
I am at a delightfully rainy services. As you can see, the Pigeon is parked up here. There's a rest area over the back there and just a regular services here. I do believe it is a Shell garage, which makes me feel like I am right at home.
Initially, Adam had planned to spend the night somewhere else, but due to an unknown circumstance, he decided to stop at a different location. The night was calm until around 2:30 a.m. when unexpected noises near the back door of his van suddenly woke him up. The next morning, still shaken by the events of the previous night, Adam recalls his experience. He explains that hearing footsteps and indistinct noises triggered a sense of fear and heightened awareness. When reviewing his security camera footage, he discovers that two unidentified individuals had been lurking around his van at midnight. Their intentions were unclear, but their behavior seemed suspicious. While analyzing the recorded footage, Adam shares the exact moment with his audience. As he slept, the two individuals carefully examined the area around the van. One of them was smoking a cigarette, seemingly harmless, yet their overall behavior suggested otherwise. They moved from one side of the van to the other until the cameras captured one of them trying the door handle. This noise instantly woke Adam up. With adrenaline surging, Adam immediately reacted and shouted loudly to scare them off. Upon reviewing the footage again, he realizes that contrary to his initial belief, the intruders didn't run away in panic. Instead, they calmly walked away, as if nothing had happened.
Now this bit round the back of the van seems quite innocent. It looks like he's just smoking and he chucks that in the bin and then he comes back round. It's like for some reason they didn't want to try the back of the van, which suggests to me that they weren't looking to rob what was inside the van, they were looking to nick the entire thing. Imagine if I just woken up bombing down the motorway at 70 miles an hour. That would have made a brilliant video.
Adam carefully examines the footage and understands that had he not reacted in time, the situation could have escalated into something dangerous, from an attempted break-in to a potential confrontation. Fortunately, his quick thinking prevented anything worse from happening, but this incident will stay with him forever. This experience served as a crucial reminder for Adam to always be cautious when traveling and sleeping in isolated places. Now, he is more vigilant than ever, knowing that danger can appear at any time and in any place, even when least expected. This incident once again proved the importance of being prepared and staying alert during solo travels. Josh is an adventurous explorer who loves traveling the world and sharing his experiences with others. He is always trying out different paths and often camps out in nature. This time, he set off into the dense jungles of Sri Lanka to discover a mysterious cave about which many strange stories had been told. Josh had nearly reached the cave's entrance. Only a few steps remained to the highest point of the trail when suddenly something strange happened. From among the trees, two men emerged, as if they had been waiting for him all along. Without saying a word, they silently began following him. Their behavior seemed unusual. Whenever Josh walked, they walked too. Whenever he stopped, they stopped as well. At first, he tried to brush it off as a coincidence, but it wasn't long before one of the men stepped forward and directly asked him to come with them. Josh firmly but politely refused, yet they had no intention of backing off. At that moment, the atmosphere completely changed. Tension between them rose sharply, and the air grew thick with unease.
And at this point, out of the corner of my eye, I noticed one of the men was moving behind me. And at that moment, my gut instinct kicked in loud and clear. Get out now.
I'm just gonna get one more shot, okay?
One more shot. Oh, sorry. I'm just shooting, filming, and doing more. And then I'll come, okay? I'll come soon. I just want to shoot this. But you go. I'll stay. And then I come later. I'm just filming everything. Okay? Okay.
Josh sensed that something was seriously wrong and knew he had to act quickly. Without hesitation, he turned on his camera and started recording. From that point on, everything changed. In situations like this, it's crucial to always be prepared. Having something to defend yourself with can be vital because ultimately, what chance does a lone traveler have against two unknown strangers in a remote place without any means of protection? When real danger strikes, there's no room for risks. It's always better to be ready for anything than to find yourself trapped with no way out. Rob Call Nature is an outdoor channel where the creator shares his camping experiences and often faces survival challenges. On one of his trips, he discovered a location that had no online photos, which piqued his curiosity. He decided to check it out for himself. He drove toward the area, but since it was deep in the forest, he had to park his car and continue on foot. He headed west. While preparing his gear, a car passed by, and the driver slowed down upon seeing him. Maybe the person was the landowner or thought he was a poacher. Putting these thoughts aside, he continued his journey. After a long hike, he finally reached the Viking burial site and decided to camp there. The atmosphere was eerily silent. He stayed for a few hours, but the strong wind and freezing cold made conditions extremely harsh. He tried to endure the night, but things got worse. The temperature dropped significantly, and he was on the verge of freezing. After some thought, he realized staying there was not an option. It would be too dangerous. So he decided to head back to his car and spend the night somewhere warmer. But when he reached his vehicle, he was met with an unexpected sight. Someone had taken pictures of his car.
It's just out here in the wilderness, waiting for you to come and explore. So pack your bags and come visit the Nordics.
Fresh footprints in the snow sent a wave of anxiety through him. Since it had been snowing while he was at the burial site, the footprints had to belong to someone who had just arrived. That meant the person was likely still nearby. That thought alone was enough to make him feel watched. Not wanting to take any risks, he quickly got into his car and drove away. What would you have done in his place? Let me know in the comments. Up to Summit is a solo wilderness camping channel based in the United Kingdom, known for its breathtaking overnight stays in some of England's toughest and most scenic landscapes. The creator, a calm and courageous adventurer, uploads a new video every week. During one of his latest trips to the Angletarn area located on the slopes of Place Fell, he had an experience he couldn't clearly explain himself. The journey to the campsite was long but rewarding, about 12 miles along ridgelines and past striking lakes leading to an elevated spot overlooking the Tarn. The weather was mild, and even wearing just a short wetsuit, he didn't feel cold. After picking a perfect spot with a sweeping view, he set up his tent, cooked a meal, and enjoyed his first swim of the year, a refreshing cold plunge into the water.
Honestly, what a nice swim that was. It's like the first time at year where it's not been absolutely freezing. I swam over to that island just over there, it felt like forever. When you're swimming, it always feels like a really long way because you don't travel that fast.
Everything went according to plan. As night fell, a deep tranquility settled over the area. The breeze was gentle, stars peeked through gaps in the clouds, and the temperature dropped just enough to warrant warmer clothes. He crawled into his sleeping bag, ready for a good night's rest. But then, he heard a strange, unexpected sound. It was a high-pitched, trembling noise that passed directly over his tent. It didn't sound like birds flapping their wings, nor did it resemble a drone flying overhead. Instead, it sounded more like a strange sheep or a giant, bizarre insect, something straight out of a science fiction movie.
Honestly, I'm just laid in my tent and I've just heard the weirdest noise go over ever. I don't even know what it was. I don't really want to look outside because I don't think I'd want to know what it was. It was definitely flying because it flew over, but it sounded almost like a sheep or like, I don't even know, something out of Star Wars. Never heard anything like it. I'm hoping it was just a weird sounding bird, but it sounded very strange.
After hearing the noise, everything outside went dead silent. No footsteps, no rustling. He didn't venture out, not because he feared encountering a human or animal, but because he wasn't eager to face something unknown. Yet his curiosity drove him to search for answers online afterward. He learned that snipe birds, typically shy and small, produce an unusual sound called winnowing during mating season by diving and letting air rush through their tail feathers. This sound doesn't resemble typical bird calls and is rare to hear even during daylight. While this scientific explanation helped make sense of what he'd heard, the eerie feeling of that night remained vivid. For someone camped miles away from the nearest signs of civilization, alone in the darkness and cold, hearing such a noise was a profoundly striking experience. With the sunrise, a sense of peace returned. Golden and blue morning light washed over the hills. Although the memory of the strange night lingered, the daylight softened its intensity. He packed up his camp, leaving no trace behind, and departed the area. But the memory of that odd night stayed with him.